The galaxy was quiet, too quiet. For years, there had been peace. Trade ships moved between stars. Colonies grew on distant planets. Even old enemies had stopped fighting. But deep inside that silence, something terrible was hiding. It began with the fall of Halrix 9. One moment, it was a shining planet, full of life, towers of crystal, flying ships in the sky. The next moment, everything burned. The sky turned black. Oceans boiled. People screamed, but no one could help them. Within 42 seconds, Halrix 9 was gone. Then it happened again. Velkar 3, Chion 7, and Yara Prime, all destroyed in the same way. No warning, no survivors, only silence and fire. Across the galaxy, fear spread like a virus. Hundreds of alien species tried to contact each other. But every time they sent ships to investigate, those ships never returned. Something was killing entire planets, something fast, powerful, and silent. The survivors called it the Scream. But it wasn't a sound they could hear. It was a signal, an echo of pain, panic, and final goodbyes. It traveled through space, faster than light. It carried the last memories of the dead. AI systems broke under its pressure. Even the strongest minds could not listen to it without going mad. The scream was not just a warning. It was a cry for help. One ancient satellite, floating dead near the edge of the galaxy, picked up the signal. It was Earth's last deep space receiver. Long ago, humans had built it to listen to the stars. But for 300 years, no one had spoken to Earth. No signals, no visits. The galaxy thought Earth was gone, destroyed in the Great Machine War. But Earth was not dead. It was sleeping, waiting, hiding its strength, watching the galaxy forget. Inside a bunker, 300 miles beneath Greenland's frozen surface, an old man opened his eyes. His name was Commander Raynor. Once, he was a Titan master, leader of Earth's most powerful defense project. Now, he was just a memory, a ghost waiting in the dark. A red light blinked in front of him. The signal had arrived. Not one, but hundreds, layered on top of each other, each one full of death, fear, and voices calling out into the void. Raynor sat up slowly. His face was hard, covered in scars. His eyes, once full of hope, were tired now. But he listened. He let the scream play. They're coming. Please, anyone. Not enough time. Children crying. Mothers calling. Soldiers shouting. Worlds dying. And then, silence again. Raynor stood up. The walls around him were metal, old and rusted. But deep beneath that metal was power, enough to shake mountains. He walked down a dark hallway. Each step echoed through the bunker like thunder. Dust fell from the ceiling. Lights flickered on, one by one. As he passed, he reached a sealed door. It had not been opened in centuries. On the front, words were carved. Project Titan. Do not HCTIVAT UNLESS, the ESTARS scream. Raynor placed his hand on the scanner. It did not recognize him. He entered a code. Then another. The system woke up with a groan. Machines roared to life. The door opened. Inside, a massive shape stood in the darkness. 50 meters tall, covered in heavy armor. Its arms were cannons. Its chest glowed with blue light. Its eyes were closed, but it was not asleep. It was waiting. Raynor whispered, Titan 1, Prometheus, time to wake up. The machine's eyes lit up. 2 burning blue circles. The air shook. Walls trembled. Systems across Earth began to blink and hum. From Antarctica to New York, old command stations picked up the signal. Earth was waking up. The scream of the stars had been heard. Titan 1 stood in silence, but it was not sleeping anymore. Its massive eyes glowed like 2 small suns, and its body gave off low vibrations, like a giant heartbeat made of steel. Dust fell from the ceiling as ancient machines reconnected to life. Red lights blinked. Fuel lines hissed. Control arms moved for the first time in 300 years. Commander Raynor stared up at the machine. He had trained the Titan project. Once. He knew every circuit, every command, every weakness. But standing here again, he felt small. "It's been a long time," Raynor said softly. A robotic voice replied, deep and clear. "Commander Raynor, voice match, confirmed. Status, Earth Defense Protocol initiated. The bunker systems powered on. Monitors showed holograms of the galaxy, dots blinking red where planets had fallen. 23 dead worlds. And counting." Raynor clenched his fist. His voice was cold, but there was pain inside it. "They never thought Earth would answer. They thought we were gone." He turned to the main console. His fingers moved fast over the controls. Old programs came to life. Code flowed like rivers. Deep inside the Earth, sleeping Titans began to receive signals. They were slow, but waking. Prometheus, Titan 1, stepped forward. The floor shook with each step. The launch bay opened far above, hidden inside a frozen mountain. Ice cracked. Steel arms reached out and grabbed the Titan, lifting it toward the sky. Raynor's command chair rose behind it, locking him into the control core inside Prometheus's chest. "Titan 1, mission start," he ordered. "Confirmed. Mission, respond to galactic distress. Route, Velran 6. Velran 6 was once a friend to Earth. Long ago, humans had helped the Velrans defeat slavers and build a peaceful society. They had sent music and paintings to Earth, symbols of thanks. But now their last message was simple: help us, please." As Prometheus launched into space, Raynor closed his eyes. He remembered the last time he flew a Titan, the final battle of the machine war. Earth had survived, but at a terrible price. Billions had died. Humanity had pulled away from the stars and hidden under the ground. The Titans were buried, locked forever. Until now. Out in space, Titan 1 moved like a god of war. Its body glowed with energy. Its AI scanned far ahead. Raynor could see burned planets, destroyed cities, empty satellites, frozen corpses drifting in silence. No enemies visible, no warnings, just destruction. "Prometheus," Raynor asked, "what do you think did this?" "Unknown. No radiation. No typical weapon signatures. High probability. Living entity." Raynor frowned. "You're saying it's alive?" "Possibly. Movement pattern is biological, but output is beyond known species. Caution. Threat level. Extinction class." Raynor stared at the galaxy map. Red dots spread like a disease. They were moving toward the inner systems. If Earth waited any longer, it would be next. He activated Titan's message beam, old but strong. A signal burst out across space. "To any surviving races, this is Earth. You called. We heard. Titan 1 is en route. Hold fast. We are coming." It was the first time in 3 centuries that Earth had spoken. Across distant stations, survivors heard the message. An old trader on a broken ship cried. A refugee family on a moon station held each other and whispered, "Humans are real." They came back, but not everyone was happy. Far beyond, in a system of shadows, something listened. It had no name, no face, only hunger. It had consumed stars, planets, and minds. And now it had heard something new, the voice of a world it had missed. Earth. It turned toward the blue planet, slow but certain. Prometheus continued its journey. Inside, Raynor watched old videos from Velran 6. Children laughing, artists dancing in zero gravity. That was why he returned. Not for glory, not for war. For them. To protect what was beautiful. Titan 1's scanners beeped. Velran 6 was close. But the readings were bad. Too quiet, too empty. Raynor tightened his straps. His voice was calm, but sharp. Ready weapons, wake full battle systems. If anyone's still alive down there, we're not leaving them. Titan 1 charged its core. Lightning danced along its arms. Earth's first and last giant was about to walk again into a galaxy that had forgotten its power. But soon, they would remember. Titan 1 entered the orbit of Velran 6. From above, the planet looked dead. Once, it had oceans that glowed blue at night, green forests stretching across continents, and sky cities that floated like silver clouds. Now, only fire and ash remained. Smoke covered the upper atmosphere. The land below was broken. Giant scars cut through the ground like someone had dragged claws across the planet. There were no signals, no lights, no sound, only silence. Inside the Titan, Raynor stared at the screen. "Scan for survivors," he ordered. "Scanning," replied the AI. "No life signs on global surface. Atmospheric decay level, 94%. Possible underground heat sources detected." Raynor leaned forward. "Send a probe. Let's find out what's under that ground." A small drone flew out of Titan's back and dropped through the clouds. It streamed live video to the screen. The images were painful. Entire cities were flattened. Towers melted, cars twisted, homes turned into black shadows. Skeletons covered the streets. Some were alien, others were unrecognizable. Burn marks covered everything, like the fire had come from the sky itself. The probe moved toward one of the underground signals, an old bunker buried under a mountain. There, something moved. Raynor's eyes locked on the screen. The drone entered the tunnel, lights flashing. Inside, a soft blue glow pulsed in the dark. It was a cryopod, and inside it, a child. An alien girl, no older than 7, with soft purple skin and large, frightened eyes. She was awake, but weak. She looked into the camera and reached out, her lips trembling. Raynor didn't wait. "Prepare drop. I'm going down." "Warning," said the AI. "Surface is unstable. Threats unknown. I don't care. Get me there." The Titan began descent, its engines roaring as it dropped through the fire-stained sky. Debris hit the armor like rain. Explosions cracked across the land as it landed near the ruined mountain. Raynor stepped out of the command chair and entered the pilot suit, a lightweight exoframe linked to Titan's systems. As the hatch opened, heat rushed in. The planet smelled like smoke and death. Raynor moved fast through the broken tunnel, guided by the drone signal. The bunker was half collapsed. Metal beams hung loose, sparks shooting from broken walls. But the cryopod was still intact. The girl was inside, breathing weakly. She looked at Raynor with wide, fearful eyes. "It's okay," he whispered. "You're safe now." He opened the pod gently and lifted her into his arms. She was light, almost too light. Her body was shaking. She didn't speak, but her small hands clung to his suit tightly. Raynor turned back toward the tunnel. But then, something growled. Not from behind. From below. The floor cracked. Stone shifted. And from the shadows, something rose. Tall, thin, and twisted. It had sharp legs like knives and eyes that glowed red. It wasn't a machine. It wasn't an animal. It was something in between. A star devourer. Raynor's blood ran cold. The creature screamed, a high burning sound that shook the walls. It lunged forward. Raynor ran, shielding the girl. A wall of fire exploded behind him as the monster struck. He jumped through the exit tunnel just as Titan 1 locked onto the signal. Enemy detected. Engaging. The Titan's chest opened. A beam of blue plasma fired, hitting the creature mid-jump. It howled as it burned, falling back into the ruins. Raynor jumped into the command pod with the girl still in his arms. He laid her on a medical bed inside the cockpit. The Titan eye scanned her quickly. Species, Velran child. Status, critical, but stable. Emotional distress, extreme. Raynor looked down at her. Her big eyes stared into his. She reached out slowly and touched his hand. He didn't pull away. "I've got you now," he whispered. "You're not alone." Outside, the ground shook again. More creatures were coming, the same kind, crawling through the smoke, pulled by the heat of life. They had tasted the Velran world. Now they smelled something new. Titan 1 prepared for battle. Energy levels rising. Arm cannons rotating. Raynor's voice turned cold again. "Protect the child. Lock all systems. If I die, you keep her safe." Confirmed. The Titan stood tall, surrounded by ash and fire, facing the shadows. And in that moment, for the first time in centuries, a human was no longer just surviving. He was defending. The battlefield burned around Titan 1. Black smoke rose into the sky as ash fell like snow. The ground cracked beneath the giant war machine, and from those cracks, monsters crawled. Raynor stood inside the Titan's core, holding the child's hand. She was silent now, eyes wide with fear. Her body trembled, but she was alive. Raynor looked at her, then turned back toward the battle. "Prometheus," he said, voice sharp, "what are we fighting?" The AI scanned the enemies ahead. Analyzing. Confirmed. Designation: Star Devourers. Origin: unknown. Composition: unknown. Behavior: hive-based. Objective: consume planetary energy, biological and artificial. Raynor frowned. "So, they eat everything." Yes. The creatures were like nightmares made real. Long limbs, sharp claws, faces with no eyes, only burning red mouths. Their skin shifted like black liquid metal. Some were tall, others crawled on all fours. They moved like insects, but screamed like machines. Dozens surrounded Titan 1 now. Raynor activated the main weapons. "Let's show them Earth still remembers how to fight." Titan 1's arms lit up. Twin plasma cannons fired, melting the first wave of monsters instantly. A sonic burst followed, clearing the path with a roar. But for each one that fell, 3 more came. "They don't stop," Raynor said. "They're not scared." Correct. They are not alive in the way we understand. Raynor zoomed in on one of the fallen creatures. Inside its broken chest, something glowed. A tiny orb. Pulsing, dark red light. Alive. Zoom in. That thing. Is it a heart? Unknown. Possibly a core. Source of energy and command signal. Suddenly, the orb cracked. A high-pitched scream filled the Titan's audio system. The little girl covered her ears. Raynor quickly cut the sound. On screen, the body of the fallen creature dissolved into black mist, vanishing into the air. "What the hell?" Raynor whispered. They returned to the hive. Even in death, Raynor watched the battlefield. More creatures came, but now something was different. A shadow appeared above the mountains. It wasn't walking, it was floating. Larger than the others. Twice the height of Titan 1. Its body twisted in the air like smoke, but its face looked almost human, but not kind. Its mouth opened, and a deep voice echoed through the Titan system. "You should have stayed gone, Earthborn. This galaxy belongs to us now." Raynor's blood turned cold. "You can speak." The voice laughed, a dark, burning sound. "I am the voice. We are one. We were born in the dead stars. You left your children to rot. Now we eat what you forgot." Raynor stepped forward, gripping the controls. "You attacked helpless planets. You killed billions. We freed them. From pain, from time, from the lie of peace. And now we will consume you." Raynor didn't speak. He simply pressed the command trigger. Titan 1 launched forward, blasting through 2 devourers, and slammed its shoulder into the floating beast. But the monster didn't fall. It shifted backward, phasing like smoke. The battle grew louder. Fire, plasma, claws, and screams. Raynor's breathing was heavy. The little girl, watching from behind the shield glass, suddenly spoke for the first time. Her voice was weak, soft. "Please don't let them take me." Raynor turned to her. For a moment, the war noise faded. "I won't," he said. "Not while I'm breathing." She reached out, her hand shaking. Raynor touched it gently through the glass. "You're not alone anymore." Titan I's systems flashed red. Damage alerts, heat warnings, ammo low. Raynor knew this wasn't a battle he could win alone. He opened a hidden channel. One Earth had kept secret. A message burst into the stars. "This is Commander Raynor. Titan I has engaged the enemy on Velran 6. They are real. They are many. If any Titan units remain, this is your call. Earth needs you. Now." Then silence. But far away, under ice, sand, and stone, the old Titans heard the voice. In Africa, Titan VII's heart lit up. In Limmer orbit, Titan III blinked online. In the old oceans, Titan V rose from the deep. One by one, they woke, like ancient gods returning. The Earth's giants were coming. Raynor smiled inside the cockpit. "You hear that, monster?" he said, looking at the floating beast. "We're not the ones who should have stayed hidden. You are." The enemy roared in anger. Raynor raised his weapon. "Let's finish this round." The sky above Velran 6 burned red. Titan I stood alone, surrounded by smoke and enemies. Raynor's breathing was heavy. Inside the cockpit, warning lights flashed. Power low, fuel dropping, weapons overheating. The little girl still lay safely behind the shield. Her eyes stayed locked on Raynor. She didn't speak, but the way she looked at him said everything. "Don't stop." Outside, the giant devourer floated above the battlefield, its voice like thunder. "You are finished, Earthborn. Your machine bleeds. Your time is over." Raynor wiped sweat from his face and stared at the monster through the screen. "You talk too much," he muttered. But deep down, he knew it was true. Titan I couldn't win this alone. He looked up at the stars. His signal had been sent, but there had been no reply. What if no one came? What if the other Titans were gone forever? Just then, the ground trembled. A loud metallic boom echoed through the mountains. Then another, and another. From behind the hills, a shadow appeared, huge, armored, walking like thunder. Titan VII, painted black and silver, carrying twin rocket arms and a shield big as a ship. Behind it, rising from the ash clouds, came Titan III, sleeker, faster, blue and white, armed with pulse cannons and jet boosters. From orbit, Titan V dropped like a meteor, smashing into the surface and roaring as it stood tall. Raynor smiled for the first time in days. "We're not finished," he whispered. "We're just getting started." The devourer screamed. Its army moved forward. But now it was no longer one Titan. It was four. The Earth had answered. Titan VII charged in first, rockets flying. Titan III zipped across the field, cutting through enemies like lightning. Titan V crushed devourers underfoot and fired sonic bursts that shattered the air. Raynor joined the fight, pushing Titan I forward with new strength. "This is for the lost worlds," he said. "This is for every child they took." Prometheus roared, a sound like a lion made of thunder. Its plasma blade extended, cutting through creatures as it moved. Raynor fought with rage, but also with purpose. His heart burned, but his mind stayed clear. Inside the Titan, the little girl watched the screen. Her lips moved slowly. "Humans, our heroes." The four Titans moved together, back to back. Machines of old war, fighting not for Earth, but for the galaxy. And then the sky cracked. A massive black hole opened above Velran 6. Not natural. Not science. It was alive. The true hive had come. Raynor stared up. "That thing, it's pulling the planet in." "Confirmed," Prometheus said. "If not stopped, Velran 6 will collapse." Raynor looked at the child. then at his brothers and sisters in battle. He opened the Titan comm line. "This is Raynor. That thing in the sky is the source. We end it now, together." The other commanders answered. Titan 3, ready to fly. Titan 5, charging core. Titan 7, give us a path. Let's bring it down. The Titans moved in formation. Titan 3 flew up, leading the charge. Titan 7 threw its shield like a meteor, breaking enemy lines. Titan 5 used its sonic core to open a path through the gravity field. And Titan 1, Prometheus, went straight through the storm. Raynor activated the overdrive core. The cockpit shook wildly. "Prometheus," he said, "you with me?" "Always, Commander." Inside the core, the energy overloaded. The Titan began to burn gold, not from fire, but raw power. They flew into the heart of the hive. Monsters screamed. Black limbs reached out. Raynor pushed forward. And then, silence. A flash of light. A sound like a star screaming. The core exploded. Not with fire, but with light. The hive broke apart, pulled into itself. The sky cleared. The black hole collapsed. The pull stopped. Velran 6 was saved. The monsters fell like shadows vanishing in sunlight. And from the dust, Prometheus stood, glowing, damaged, but alive. Inside, Raynor was on one knee, breathing hard. The little girl walked up behind him and hugged him tight. "You came back," she whispered. Raynor didn't answer. He just placed a hand on her shoulder and smiled. Above, the remaining Titans stood guard. Earth was no longer forgotten. It had returned as a protector, silent for centuries, but now the loudest voice in the galaxy. And everyone heard it. When the universe screamed for help, mankind answered, with Titans. The stars above Velran 6 were clearer now, no longer covered by the black clouds of battle. The war was over, but the work was just beginning. Titan 1 stood on the surface, its massive frame towering above the ruined cities of Velran 6. The battle was over, but the damage was everywhere. Raynor's mind was still racing. His fingers were still shaking from the adrenaline. But when he looked out over the field of wreckage, he knew one thing for sure. The Earth wasn't done yet. The little girl stood beside him, her hand gripping his. She had stopped trembling. Her eyes, once filled with fear, were now calm, even hopeful. "Where are we going?" she asked softly. Raynor looked down at her and smiled. "We're going to rebuild. All of us." Behind them, Titan 7, Titan 3, and Titan 5 stood guard, their massive forms still scanning the skies for any remaining threats. But the air was still. The Earth's Titans had fought, and now they watched over a peaceful world. For the first time in centuries, there was hope. Raynor pressed a button on his control panel. "Prometheus, what's our status?" "Titan 1 is stable. Minor repairs required. Enemy forces eliminated. Rebuilding plans are underway." Raynor nodded. "And Earth's response?" "We have received communication from other Titan units across the galaxy. Humanity's message has been heard." He paused, his eyes scanning the horizon. The world, once teeming with destruction, was now quiet. But it was not the silence of death. It was the silence before life. "We have a lot of work ahead," he said, his voice determined. "The galaxy may be in ruins, but we'll bring it back. Earth is no longer just a planet of survivors. We are the protectors. We are the shield." The girl tugged at his sleeve. "What will happen to the others? The ones who are still out there?" Raynor's heart twisted. The galaxy was wide, and many of its worlds had been lost to the star devourers. But Earth had learned something today. They were not alone. The Titans, the forgotten guardians of the stars, had returned, and they had come to stay. "We'll find them," he said firmly. "We'll save them. All of them." A small voice crackled through Raynor's comm system. "Commander Raynor, this is Titan 3. We've completed a full scan of the surrounding systems. There are still survivors out there." Raynor grinned. Good. Let's go get them. Titan III's voice continued. We've also detected signs of life on a nearby planet. A human colony. We've lost contact with them for over a century. Raynor's heart raced. A human colony. Where? He asked urgently. Coordinates incoming. Prepare for departure. Raynor turned to the little girl. Are you ready to see more of the galaxy? Her eyes sparkled. I am. The wind blew gently across the broken landscape, and for a moment, Raynor let himself breathe. The moment didn't last long. He turned back toward Titan I's hatch, ready to move out. Raynor, we're not alone. The Galactic Council has just sent a message, said Prometheus. They've noticed the return of the Titans. There will be negotiations. Raynor's expression darkened slightly. Negotiations, he repeated, feeling the weight of it. The Galactic Council doesn't care about humanity. Correct. But this time, humanity is no longer a forgotten race. Earth is now an ally, and the Titans have proven their strength. Raynor nodded. We'll show them we don't need their approval. We're here to protect the galaxy, not beg for a seat at their table. He walked back to Titan I, the others following. Let's get to work. Weeks later, the Titans were no longer just the weapons of war. They became symbols of a new era. An era of rebuilding, not destruction. The human colony Raynor had found on the distant planet was safe. Earth sent resources, new technologies, and soldiers. The Titans helped clear debris, rebuild cities, and protect the new colonies from any remaining threats. The galaxy began to take notice. The human race, once nearly wiped out, had returned with a power like no other. The old alliances of the galaxy, those that had long ignored Earth, now found themselves in a delicate position. One by one, the Titans spread across the stars. Some remained on Velran 6, guarding the planet. Others traveled, seeking out the forgotten colonies, bringing them aid and protection. And with each step, humanity's name was whispered again. This time, it wasn't a whisper of fear. It was a whisper of respect. Raynor stood on the balcony of the newly rebuilt command center on Velran 6. The stars above had never looked brighter. He turned to the little girl beside him, now standing taller, her face filled with wonder. It's happening, isn't it? She asked softly. We're really going to make things better. Raynor smiled. Yes, we are. This is just the beginning. And for the first time in centuries, Earth stood not as a forgotten world, but as a force to be reckoned with. Humanity's war had ended, but a new war had begun, one of rebuilding, of protecting, and of uniting the stars under the banner of a new, stronger Earth. The Titans had returned, and the galaxy would never forget.